I'm Anderson.
And I'm Eric.
And this is Straight Talk.
So did you change anything legally? Like any documentation, your name?
That's an amazing question. No. However, in my community, people often ask me what my PGP is, and PGP stands for preferred gender pronoun. And so that's something that you have the right to choose.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I did.
I did not know that.
So what is your PGP?
So exactly. So people will say, what's your preferred gender pronoun? Meaning like they don't want to misgender you or make assumptions about your gender.
And is that the polite way of asking?
Yeah,
Yes.
people say, I wouldn't really abbreviate it like that because that sounds kind of like strange to me. I'd rather just be like, oh, like what's your
What's your
preferred
PBG?
Right. What's your BBC, ABC?
Are you an NBCer?
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Just like ask me. So I'll say they because they encompasses he, she, they, or
Right.
all of that.
That's
They. It doesn't
They.
have to have a
It's not specific.
defiant
Exactly.
gender.
Do you know what I think is interesting? I think this PGP, right now we're like, oh my god, that's a great polite way to ask.
Yeah.
And then in 5 years we'll be like, are you PGP? And we'll be shut. We'll be like, do you understand how much we've progressed since PGP? Like, it's so interesting, like, because I've never heard that, and I know one day I'll get in trouble
Or
for
maybe
saying
everyone will be they. Maybe the language
Has-
has shifted. So
Has
everyone will be they.
anybody asked you what your PGP is?
Well, you know what? I haven't heard PGP.
But they have
Yes.
asked you.
When I'm found out that I'm not gay, then eyes light up and they look at me and they're so excited because people are just interested. This is why we're here right now. We don't know.
yeah.
We're all
Right.
learning. We're all sharing.
Yeah.
So people come up to me and they have no problem with asking like, "Oh, are you gonna go with your full transition?" First question out of the gate.
No.
All the time. Not even joking.
Stop.
So I asked for a beer.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
I'm
but-
gonna give you the answer if you give
But
me
it's
a
not
beer.
insulting because here's the thing, it's not a hate crime. They're not being mean to me. They are generally curious and they don't know who to ask.
Yeah.
And
You know,
I
I
like
think
to
that's
talk.
better than
So-
not saying something and being judgmental.
But I
Right?
think it's
But they don't
ignorant
believe
in
it.
the sense
They
that
don't
the way
believe
that
it.
they ask.
oh, but they don't know how to.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah, you know, it's like something you've never asked before.
and I don't
so
know how to
It's true,
answer
but
it
still-
because then I don't feel that way.
I feel as though
Yeah.
people should stop and think before they ask.
Well,
Yeah.
I think people should stop and think.
It just
Always.
always. It just comes off as
Yeah.
But here's the
they're
thing, though.
excited.
But this is what I like about. But this is why Eric and I had the idea to do this.
Yeah.
It's because realistically, it's you don't know how to ask the question,
True.
and it does come off like sort of abrupt or rude or ignorant when you ask it because you just think about one time when you wouldn't want to get the answer to something and you can't, so you just ask it, and people are like, ugh. But that's I understand what you're saying, that it's very polite for them to just ask, and because they're incurious, and like let's not meet them with this like like let's embrace that, like, oh no, get me a beer first and then I'll tell you about it,
Right?
and then because I want
That's what they're
the whole thing is to like everybody should open up, and I feel, and I think everybody should be able to ask whatever questions that they want to ask,
Absolutely.
I will play
so I'm
devil's
happy that
advocate, though,
we've
on that.
I'm happy that we've done this.
What's the devil's
I
advocate?
would play devil's advocate because sometimes you don't feel like you have the, like after all the layers of oppression and homophobia and transphobia, sometimes you feel like you don't have the strength to be the poster child for your identity. Whereas you're just chilling with your girls.
That's true.
I'm just chilling with my friends.
right.
I don't really want to have to answer questions
You don't wanna be the
about
poster
my
child.
genitalia or whatever.
I
Or my-
agree with that too because
You
I'm
know.
being made the poster child. And I'm like, you got the wrong child. Get another guy.
Well, here's the
So-
thing. Listen, well, we're all not poster children today, but we've had the open conversation.
Right.
But I really want to get into these eggs because I don't cook.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's raise a glass
Yes.
to gay, lesbian, straight,
There we go.
gender fluidity.
Yes.
Exactly. We got it out on the table. We talked about it. Y'all asked some questions. Inappropriate.
Cheers.
I got into your sex life. We're going to eat this food and have a good time. Thank you. It's the one question I've always wanted to ask. I don't get the whole,
Scissoring.
I try to think of it from a pleasure standpoint.